Welcome to Silent Secrets. Today, we're diving into one of the hardest truths most men never hear until it's too late. Listen carefully, because what I'm about to say may shock you. You are the prize, not her. Now I know. Some of you instantly felt resistance when I said that. You might have thought, wait, how can I be the prize? Aren't men supposed to chase? Aren't we supposed to prove ourselves to women? That emotional reaction you just had, that discomfort, is exactly why this video is so important. We live in a world where many men have been mentally conditioned to believe their worth only exists when a woman validates them, conditioned to think they must beg, prove, perform, and constantly earn attention just to deserve affection. And as a result, even strong men with intelligence, ambition, and character, end up walking on eggshells in their own relationships. Today, we're going to break that illusion. I'm going to show you why men lose their power, how women actually respond to it, and most importantly, how to reclaim your strength without being toxic, manipulative, or cold. Because here's the truth no one ever told you. She needs you more than you need her, not because she's weak, not because you're better, but because real value in relationships isn't measured in beauty. It's measured in strength, purpose, and stability. And when you finally understand that, everything changes. So sit back, pay attention, and don't just listen. Absorb this. Because this may be the most important message you hear about love, attraction, and power. The great lie. Men have been sold, let's start here. Somewhere along the line, the narrative flipped. Men were told that masculinity is toxic. Leadership in relationships was painted as oppressive. Media told men, your job is to impress her, to compete for her, to constantly prove your value. And slowly, a generation of men forgot who they were. Now think about it. From the moment most boys hit puberty, they're trained with one idea. If she likes me, I'm valuable. If she doesn't, I'm worthless. So what do? They chase. They overgive. They sacrifice their standards. They apologize for their masculinity. They live in fear of rejection. And worst of all, they build relationships not from strength, but from weakness. But let me give you a cold truth. A relationship built on weakness is doomed from the start. Because if she senses you don't value yourself, she won't value you either. And if you start the connection acting like she's doing you a favor by being with you, the dynamic immediately flips. You become the emotional beggar. She becomes the chooser. You give up your power. She holds it. And in relationships, power is everything. Why power matters in attraction. Let me clarify something important. When I say power, I don't mean control, manipulation, or domination. That's not power. That's insecurity dressed in aggression. True. Power is something very different. It's emotional. Stability, it's self-respect, it's the ability to walk away if your values aren't respected. It's knowing that you don't need validation to be complete. That's the kind of power women actually crave. Think about it. A woman doesn't want a man who's constantly groveling for her attention. She wants to admire her man, to respect him, to feel his presence without him needing to announce it, to feel protected without him being controlling. But when you position yourself as the one begging for her love, you kill all of that. And here's the paradox. The very behavior men think will make women love them. Over-pursuing, over-giving, over-explaining, that is exactly what kills attraction. Why? Because strength attracts, weakness repels. The difference between chasing and choosing. Let's make this practical. There's a massive difference between chasing and choosing. Chasing is desperate. It says, please pick me, please validate me, please see my worth. Choosing is grounded. It says, I see your value, but I also know mine. Let's see if you align with my world. Most men don't get this. From a young age, they're taught to chase, buy her flowers, compliment her endlessly, cancel plans just to see her, put her on a pedestal. And in doing so, they flip the balance of power before the relationship even begins. But here's the truth. A man who chooses is far more attractive than a man who chases. Why? Because choosing requires strength. It requires standards. It requires discipline. Let me paint a picture for you. Two men walk into a party. Man number 1 sees a beautiful woman and instantly tries to win her attention. He buys her a drink, laughs at every joke, compliments her nonstop. Within 5 minutes, she knows everything about how much he wants her. Man number 2 also notices her, but doesn't rush. He's calm. He socializes with others. He enjoys himself. When they finally talk, he asks bold questions. He listens. He holds his frame. Guess who she's drawn to? Not the man who gave her everything instantly, but the one who made her wonder. That's the difference. One was chasing. The other was choosing. And choosing creates magnetism. Attention is not love. Now, let's kill another dangerous lie. Attention is not love. Too many men confuse a woman's attention with her emotional investment. She might reply to your texts. She might laugh at your jokes. She might even flirt a little. But none of that means she's committed to you. Why? Because attention costs nothing. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Some women give attention just to keep men around. Not because they want them, but because they like being wanted. That's not love. That's ego maintenance. And if you don't recognize the difference, you'll end up wasting years of your life chasing a connection that never really existed. Real love requires more than attention. It requires consistency, investment, sacrifice, and commitment. So here's the filter. Don't judge her interest by how sweet she is in the beginning. Judge it by how consistent she is over time. Does she show up even when it's inconvenient? Does she invest when the excitement fades? Does she stand beside you when things get hard? That's love. Anything less is just noise. Why begging kills attraction. Now let's address one of the most destructive patterns men fall into. Begging. Begging for attention. Begging for affection. Begging for clarity. Here's the truth. The moment you beg, you lose all respect. Begging doesn't communicate love. It communicates weakness. It tells her, you have something I can't live without. You're above me. Please keep feeding my worth. That energy kills attraction instantly, because a woman doesn't want to carry your sense of self-worth. She wants to trust that you already have it. And here's the irony. When you stop begging, when you stop trying to prove your value, that's when she actually starts respecting you. Because now, you're not a boy hoping to be chosen. You're a man who chooses. Emotional control. Masculine power. Let's be brutally honest here. Most men today are emotionally weak. Not because they don't have feelings, but because they let their feelings control them. One unread text, and they spiral. One argument, and they panic. One cold response, and they start begging for validation. That's not strength. That's emotional immaturity, and women feel it instantly. A man without emotional control isn't attractive. He's unstable, and instability kills trust. Because here's the truth. If your emotions control you, she can control you. But when you master your emotions, everything shifts. You don't panic when she pulls back. You don't overreact when she disagrees. You don't lose yourself just because she tests you. Instead, you stay calm, grounded, focused, and that calmness, that stability, is magnetic. It's rare, it's powerful, because women test men not to destroy them, but to see if they can lead. And if you can hold your frame in the face of pressure, you pass every test. Why women test men? Let's expand on that. A lot of men misunderstand female testing. When she challenges you, when she questions your decisions, when she pulls back her energy, most men panic. They assume she's losing interest. They start chasing harder, over-explaining, compromising their standards. But here's the truth. Testing isn't always disrespect. It's instinct. She's not consciously plotting to test you. She's subconsciously asking, can I trust this man's direction? Can I lean on him when life gets hard? Does he have the strength to lead himself and therefore lead me? If you fail those tests by crumbling, overreacting, or begging, her instincts scream, this man isn't strong enough. But when you pass those tests, by staying calm, consistent and grounded, her instincts tell her, this man is safe. This man is strong. This man can lead. And when she feels that, attraction deepens. You are the prize. Now let's circle back to the statement that started this video. You are the prize. Not because you're better than women, not because you're entitled, but because when you build yourself into a strong, disciplined, purpose-driven man, you become rare, and rare things are valuable. A man who knows his worth doesn't beg. He doesn't chase. He doesn't compromise his values. He chooses. He leads. He builds. And because of that, women respect him, admire him, and desire to be part of his life. Not because he worshipped them, but because he built a life worth sharing. The call to Menso, here's my challenge to every man. Watching this right now, stop acting like you're lucky to be chosen. Stop. Living like her validation is the source of your worth. Stop handing over your power just to keep someone interested. Instead, rise, build your body, grow your mind, pursue your purpose, lead with strength, clarity, and peace. Because when you do that, you won't need to chase anyone. You'll attract the right people into your life, naturally. And when you finally realize you're the prize, everything changes. So now I want to hear from you. Have you ever given away your power in a relationship? Have you ever found yourself begging, chasing, or losing yourself just to keep someone around? Drop your story in the comments. Be real, be honest. Let's create a space where men can speak openly without shame. Because this isn't just about dating. It's about rebuilding a generation of men who know their worth. Remember, when you walk in purpose, you don't chase. You attract, and she knows it. Welcome to your power.